Hey, welcome back to a Titanomix Deck Tech video. And you joined me. And what we got here today is a deck. We finished the Aragorn Spellslinger deck, and we're just going to go through it. I just wanted to kind of talk about some of these cards and kind of tell you what I've found out about this particular deck style, and maybe in general what I'm finding out about Magic is a lot of the powerful things have to do with your graveyard. And if you can utilize your graveyard to a degree to your advantage, you'll definitely have probably more of a fun time. You'll probably have a little more success. You'll probably get a couple more victories. So the ones I've just kind of outlined here, and I put these into the front, is some really fantastic spells in general. And we'll be going over them a little more in depth. However, like Dig Through Time, that is a delve spell, which is going to utilize removing cards from our graveyard in order to pay for the casting cost of this particular card. So that's really fun. So we just really have an emphasis on getting things into our graveyard. This is a newer card, which is fantastic. It will let us find an island in our deck. In exchange, this will go to our graveyard. That really works well with a lot of our spells that lets us cast spells from a graveyard. For instance, like Underworld Breach or Mystic's Mastery, and in general, just casting this for 5 is not a bad deal either to draw 3. So just overall, the island cycle to pay 1 and go fetch up an island, even a Triome is really nice. Additionally, you can just go ahead and cast it for the 5. Additionally, I kind of just mentioned Underworld Breach. This is a card that's going to help us. We're going to cast this, and with an abundance of cards in our graveyard, we're going to be able to cast those cards for an escape cost, which is their casting cost, while also exiling 3 other cards from our graveyard. Very cool card, just like a regasser. And this has to be just the bomb.com. The Mystic's Mastery. And if we can pull off the overloaded Mystic's Mastery, it's just going to be fantastic. We're going to be able to exile all the cards that we want to that are instants or sorceries in our graveyard, and then we may cast those as we please, and that would be for the overloaded costs. Otherwise, we're just going to pay the 4 for just targeting a single instant or sorcery in our graveyard and playing it. Either one is fine. So that's just kind of some of the payoffs here. It's just kind of amazing. I just picked up four cards that I thought were halfway decent for spells, and they just all had to do with the graveyard. It's there's such an emphasis on that. So yeah, let's just get right into this video. And I'll just start from the beginning. So this is our commander right here. We'll just zoom in on the Uniter here. So what does the Uniter do? It's a red, green, plains, and blue. It's a legendary creature, human noble. Whenever you cast a white spell, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever you cast a blue spell, scry 2. Whenever you cast a red spell, Aragorn the Uniter deals 3 damage to target opponent. Whenever you cast a green spell, target creature gets 4/4 until the end of turn. So basically this was kind of, I would say, just kind of really emphasized from the burn part of it. So that's really what we were kind of emphasizing for this particular deck. And yeah, that was really the major objective, you could say, of building this particular Aragorn deck. I've built ones in the past that kind of deal with the +4/+4 to creature, and also creating the human soldier creature tokens. Well, we're going to be doing a little bit of that because we just play multicolored spells in general in this, but really the main focus was to get that 3 damage to target opponent. So with that in mind, I still think it's kind of into that zone. There might be even times where we could probably get in still for that commander lethal, and I'll kind of explain why, but let's go ahead. All right, so first of all, let's just go over the ramp for this particular deck. I'll just kind of zoom out just a little bit for that. So just I'll just go over the artifacts in general. Really, I started with the soul rings first because or the artifacts, because there's one in particular that I really wanted to talk about. So Soul Ring is just like our general one colorless add the 2. It's just a very extremely strong ramp card. Arcane Signet is also just very nice for us, just to be able to play this on 2, and then being able to tap this down immediately for any color of our commander's color identity is very nice. This is the one. This Chromatic Lantern is just the ultimate card for this particular deck. Not only does it make our tapping so seamless, it just lets us play the things we want to play. What will happen, I think you'll imagine, if you get into like 4-colored, 5-color decks, you're gonna be and you're playing enough of it, you're gonna find that sometimes you're not gonna be able to cast all the things you want, just because of all the different color pips that are going on. What the Chromatic Lantern does is, for that 3 colorless, it lets all your lands control have add 1 mana of any color. And then additionally, this itself will tap for add 1 mana of any color. So it's not the fastest mana rock, but just the advantage that it gives to your lands is just like paramount. It's just so extraordinary. And I really enjoy it for this deck, and I really encourage you to play in your, 3-color, maybe not 3, but at least your 4-color, 5-color decks. The Chromatic Lantern is really nice. Okay, so in addition, let's just roll through all our kind of mana dorks here. So we just have Ragavan, we have Strike It Rich for that kind of spell-slinging aspect that has flashback. So that will create a treasure token, Noble Hierarch, Bird of Paradise, Delighted Halfling. These like, I think for like any kind of red-green deck are just so important. Like just these 4, along with your all your Soul Ring. Just these kind of groupings here, the Ragavan, Noble Hierarch. Well, depending on your, basically, a couple mana dorks, you should have at least the green ones, along with your artifact ramp too. And if you're playing red and green at Ragavan, of course, just because it just helps you accelerate so fast. No matter your game plan, these are kind of essential if you want to enjoy the game to a greater extent, I would assume. So, and to compete like with your opponents, you don't want to be left in the dust, you want to play. So, it's kind of a necessary evil, but yeah, you have to kind of devote some of your slots to those mana dorks, especially if you're playing green. Here's Nature's Lore. So this one's just, again, just to finish off the ramp, and there's spells, of course, so those are nice for Aragorn, and all of our synergy with sorceries and instants. So Nature's Lore, 3 visits, Far Seek. These are just nice ones here. And then to really top off our ramp package, the Mirari's Wake. So there's that. So not so bad. Pretty easy stuff so far. Let's talk about the main objective of the deck. And it is a Vesuvian Duplimancy deck. So to get that, we wanted to make sure that we're going to find it. If we don't, we're going to have, of course, other ways to win. But really the stylish way is going to be finding that Vesuvian Duplimancy and copying Aragorn over and over again. So we have the Enlightened Tutor. This will help us look for an artifact or an enchantment card and then put that card on top. So this is our tutors here. We have the Enlightened Tutor and the Idyllic Tutor, of course. These are the tutors that we really want to have in this particular deck, just so we can find our Vesuvian Duplimancy. And of course, the aforementioned card, Vesuvian Duplimancy, the 3 colorless blue. Whenever you cast a spell that targets only a single artifact or creature you control, create a token that's a copy of the artifact or creature, except it's not legendary. So, we'll get to Song of Creation in a moment, but for instance, we have some really nice castable cards that are also have the flashback. So for instance, if we had an Aragorn on the battlefield with a Vesuvian Duplimancy, and we had, for instance, an Artful Dodge in hand, we can go ahead and target Aragorn with this, and then immediately another Aragorn would be created. Even though they are both the same card, the legend rule would not apply because of the Vesuvian Duplimancy. So that's amazing. And then what we do is we continue to copy the Aragorn an abundance of times, like another time, of course, because I have the flashback, so we can do ahead and go over and do it again. So really 2 Aragorns is kind of out of control already. If we can get 3, I really don't foresee the game going for too much longer. It's just too much power on the battlefield, and we're going to be able to do the things we want to do. Again, just more redundancy with these flashbacks that have a single target. The Homestead Courage does the same thing. It's in white though. Defy Gravity is an instant. That one's a nice one. And once again, for one blue, it has also the flashback too. So really good stuff here. And then this is kind of just our nice protection spell. Slash can get offensive as well as the March of Swirling Mist. And this also just will have a single target. Again, we also have the flashback. So if we're going to be playing flashback cards too, you know, if we're going to be playing these cards that have flashback, and a card that definitely would come to mind that would definitely be beneficial would be the Song of Creation, of course. So this is a riskier card. You know, I've heard that people say, oh, you have to win the turn you play it on because, you know, there's a risk that you're going to lose your gas. You might draw into a land. The reason is we play such an abundance of things that have flashback in it that also are beneficial for our game plan. So the fact that we have those things makes us so we're less likely to degas. And this card is just crazy because not only are you going to be drawing many cards with it, you also have to remember that you're going to be being able to be playing that additional land as well. So it's kind of nice just to, you know, play this when you're about to gas out. Perhaps having like a couple of flashback cards and just having these ready to go, so that you can keep those because you will have to discard your hand at your end step each time you have this on the battlefield. So definitely a riskier card, but definitely feels like graveyard, and that's kind of exactly what we want to do. We have these flashback cards, of course, that are just very valuable. They can copy our instants and sorceries like Galvanic Iteration. This one's just a nice one. It doesn't have flashback, but it gives haste to one of our creatures, which was nice. It targets a single target and it will just replace itself with a card. So that's a nice one. Crimson Wisp. Reckless Charge. This is probably one of our, it's pretty decent, especially it's going to be good with our Narset, the Enlightened Exile. So, you know, the flashback cost is a little brutal for the 3, but you know, we're getting again a single target spell that has flashback, so it kind of meets the criteria. Angel Fire Ignition is also kind of a little on the pricier side, but it gives us kind of a nice lifelinker ability, and then it does have the flashback. Just getting all these things, kind of getting offensive with Aragorn. Even the trample could be good to get him with Commander Lethal. So this is just a really cool flashback spell. Ancient Grudge, you can destroy a target artifact, and then for the flashback green, you're just getting right back in there. It's just a crazy card. Oh, so good. I just love this deck. I love spells. Spells are so fun. Really, like, let's talk about the payoffs. Like, I mean, just look at this card. And just like, even just imagine like an Ancient Grudge. Like, you go ahead and play Chandra. And maybe you tapped out, and then you go ahead and you just add your 2 mana of any combination of colors, and then you play your Ancient Grudge like on the same turn, you know. So it's not like it's just an idle, like, you know, Planeswalker that you're playing for 6. You're going to get like immediate value from it, and then it's going to copy this thing. Perhaps you just, you know, take out 2 artifacts right then and there. Like, it's that easy, you know, and that's what the thing that with Chandra does, is that she really is like a glue to our deck. She's so good, you know, being able to copy these spells for us, these 2 mana spells, these abundance of 2 mana spells that we have, just on its +2, and you can do this once each turn. So you can do these to your opponent's turns too. The doubling of the instants or sorceries, it's kind of a nutty card. So and then of course it's +1 just gives you like a lot of gas. You know, you can just like look into your top 5 and, you know, find an instant sorcery and play those until your next turn. So it's just a crazy card. I love it. I think it's fantastic. So these are definitely our payoffs here. We have a 3rd Path Iconoclast. This is just going to make some nice soldiers for us. Maybe keep us alive if we need to stay alive. Just keep our board kind of nice and tidy. Narset's just going to be able to come down. It's going to like either take advantage of our graveyard or our opponent's graveyard. It's going to be fine, you know. And we have some like nice hasty cantrips, like, the Crimson Wisp. We have also the other one that we had discussed a little bit earlier too. So this is just the perfect card for that. It's going to attack in, and it's going to find us like some more things, more instants and sorceries. It's just going to be some nice glue as well for us. Here's Fire Inscription. This one's just a nice one because it's just going to like deal 2 damage to each of our opponents, based on all the instants or sorceries that we cast. So it's just really fantastic as well. So we have some really nice payoffs here. So that's fine. Let's see here. We will probably just go right into kind of the way we're going to build our graveyard. So that's the Dragon Rage Channeler. This one is just the one that surveils when you play non-creature spells and has a Delirium too. That's kind of gets good at fighting for you. Ledger Shredder seems like a nasty card in Commander. It's just going to be able to like really juice up our graveyard, which is really what we want, and get really strong in the process. It really keeps us protected in the air. I really like Shredder here. Underworld Breach, just going to take advantage of our graveyard. We discussed that. Looting is just an exceptional card for us. Again, we have the cheap like cost of spells. We went Abundance of Spellslinger, and then we have the Flashback 2 here, so which is going to fit in really nicely with our Song of Creation too. Yeah, it's just going to really keep our gas going too. Just like to let us look at our library and have some nice selection. Fable the Mirror Breaker does this too. It gets us, a nice shaman, some ramp. Also get some cards in the yard. We can copy other creatures too that are non-legendary with it, so that's nice. Ren's Resolve, very cool as well. This is just some of the nice gasoline like Ren's Revolve and Reckless Impulse, where we cast these and we can play the cards from exile. So that's also good with our Song of Creation, and it just gives us cards. So it's just going to work out really well. So just a pretty tidy deck, everybody. We have our Mizzix Mastery, pretty classic like Graveyard Enabler for spell slinging. Lorien Revealed is like that new hot card, which is of course just very good with Island Cycling, and the draw 3 is really exceptional actually for that 5 cost. It's really good. It's just surprisingly good. And then there's the Dig Through Time. And then we didn't really discuss this one too much in depth, but along this with Treasure Cruise is really the way to go. And let me see here. Where is my Treasure Cruise? There it is. Now, I had these just kind of situated in a different place, but you can see these are very similar. Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise, where you're going to be exiling cards from your graveyard. It will pay for 1 for each of those. So you're going to be playing this very cheap usually, and to draw 3 cards. Woo, so good. So, all right, so there's Treasure Cruise. Here's some more of our gas that we're going to be like kind of generating cards from. Reckless Impulse, Expressive Iteration, Unexpected Windfall, Big Score. Here's Whirlwind of Thought for more cards. Escape to the Wilds. Cards are very important, so we really need to like emphasize our cards. Rishkar's Expertise. This card cast with the Aragorn on the battlefield is 9 cards. So it's a lot of cards. And you get to just go ahead and cast another 5 drop when you play this card with Aragorn on the battlefield. So even with any creature on the board, it's going to be probably pretty decent for us in general. And we're going to be able to play that 5 cost from our hand too without paying this mana cost. So it's not going to be too much of a dead card. I don't foresee it to be. Treasure Cruise, of course. So we have like a really nice kind of setup. You can see kind of just like all our spells, like they kind of enable the graveyard here. And then along with drawing cards to a sufficient amount of cards. So we'll just keep that cards. And the thing about Big Score and Unexpected Windfall is they discard a card, which is fine for us. We want to keep cards going to our graveyard. This will draw us 2 new fresh ones and create 2 treasure tokens for both. So those are very good. Escape to the Wilds is another fantastic card. Just a lot of cards to look at. More additional lands. I think we're going to have a sneaky amount of mana in this deck, it looks like. All right, so now removal. Single target removal like Swords of Plowshares and Lightning Bolt. Then we have our kind of mid-range removal like Brotherhood's End, Burn Down the House, Incandescent Aria. This won't hit our tokens either, which is nice. And then Sunfall, which is just a nasty card, and then Farewell. So definitely going to have that mid-range control-y kind of vibe too at some times. So we're gonna be firing on all those cylinders. Then our value cards like Brazen Borrower, Bone Crusher Giant, Questing Druid. This is just all these adventure cards that we can cast on our sorcery or instant side. And they're all instants actually, yeah, amazing. And then we can go ahead and cast them on the creature side, so it's really nice value for us. Here's Manamorphs, and it's good with Aragorn because he benefits from all spells. It just doesn't have to be instants or sorcery. It benefits from all spells, so it's amazing. Here's Manamorphs. It just kind of, replaces itself and also can change the color combination if you need help with that. So that's a nice one for Aragorn. And then Omnath, of course, are kind of our penultimate Aragorn best buddy. And that's the deck. Additionally, just kind of looking through the lands here, we have our Triomes, of course. Those are nice. Our Shock lands, which are good. We're going to have our Fetch lands. Those are nice as well. Some pathways, we're not, trying to break the bank in here. I think we pretty much got all the cards we need here. Command Tower, some basics. And I don't even think I have just a Rootbound Crag here, just because I don't have all the cards I need, at once, but this should be sufficient to start. Then we have these kind of multi-phase cards that will just be actually very good. Like with the Fiery Inscription and the Aragorn, a Spikefield Hazard ends up doing 6 damage. It's amazing. It's, just overall 1 to the target, then 2 with the Fiery Inscription, and 3 with Aragorn. So these single cost spells do so much better. Kazul's Fury, just for some cheeky, finishing power. Shatterskull Smashing, of course. Balaged Recovery for our graveyard. Turntimber Symbiosis and Amaria's Call. Yeah, Seagate Restoration. That one's a little pricey, but I think I've done well enough. So I'll definitely put the list in the description, of course. If you have any questions about the deck, that's fine. I am on the Cobra Go Blue Discord. My handle in there is Shvaysak. So if you ever want to join us, we're just hanging out there in the EDH forum, in the Discord. So, go ahead, pop in, become a member of his forum. It was probably the best investment I've ever made. I mean, you come for the entertainment, but you really find some really nice people that you can bounce ideas off of, and they're very very honest and very constructive too. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Goodbye.